the out. This portion of the agenda, we're going to call upon Stella Blue, if you'd like, to say a few words.
Things are doing in our village and Terry River, and also thank our Creator for sparing their lives with all through prayer. Prayer is the key. That's the reason why they all came back home. Prayer is the key for protection. And I ask our Creator to heal their hearts for the traumatization that they went through. It was really tough, and I'd like to thank the staff, Southwest School, all the workers, the heroes, Nick, Russell, and the rest of the group that were there, that did a very amazing brave work forward. They aren't from here because of drugs, forced fires, and the local bears that kicked them out of their territory up in Grizzly Island and other parts of the territory. It's their home. So the foreign bears moved into our territory, our village in Higginsburg, which is a danger to our community, and we really need more training on how to protect ourselves. We were there. One elder told me they used maple sapling, a 7-foot maple sapling. They took the leaves off from the bottom part and left the top one, and they whirled it to make it a sound so the bears will hear it. And they don't like that sound and they leave. I just learned that same day of the attack as I was in the hospital. There to support the family and witness and pray for them. Send out a lot of prayer requests for all our families and continue to do so today. I want to thank everyone that's here tonight to show their gratitude and support for our children and the staff. It's very, very amazing. I'm very, very grateful. Stephanie, life.
Yo, it's good to see all of you out here tonight to support the students and their parents, teachers, with what they went through. This is a very, very rare occasion that something of this magnitude happened. It doesn't happen all the time. We all know we live close to the bears, this community, in the valley. Wherever we go, they're around. But the big mystery to me is why bears come and there's so many people in one space, in one area. We just pray that it never happens again. I know our elders used to tell us all the time when we were young, growing up, to be very, very aware that our elders used to communicate with the bears, talk with them. But as time went on, that didn't happen. Again, I'd like to thank each one of you for coming out tonight, and special thanks to the cooks for a very good dinner tonight. Wait.
It was a great night. When I first came here, I thought there was going to be nobody coming. And then I turned around and looked, and they all started coming to the door. It's a good sight to see when we gather together as one. We're all big one family here. On the rest, we're all related to one another in one way or another. And way back when. And trying time for us, especially as on the school board level. We heard about all that's happening. We thankful that they all came out okay. I think it was one of those things that never happened before. We all think, well, we don't get it. Nothing like this ever happened. It's the first time it ever happened. I'm thankful that you're all okay. I appreciate you all being here to help support the family. Thank you.
First of all, I thank frontline workers. You put yourself into a position to help us for the week. Thank you very much. You know, the ones that came in to help us. My name is Smallman, we're the chief. Passes is my son, grandson. I want to thank Nick for the work he did. Say thank you. And what you did for him is beyond anything I've ever seen in my whole life. So, personally, thank you. I know it's time to heal, time to forgive, time to move forward. It's time to come as one. We have a lot of work to do for ourselves and the children and everyone. To create that environment that we all respect. This is our home. The history of Nanu grizzly bear has always been in our backyards. Those that reached out, supported the community through social media, GoFundMe, and thank you also. You're not forgotten. The ones that work in the school, represent our people. I send you everything. I thank you for looking after our children. Let us work together. Thank you very much.
And I also thank the RCMP for the work they did in our valley with the SEALs and the extra ones that came in from Rupert. Lift my hands up to you. Stephanie, support.
Thanks. Next I'll call up Deputy Chief American Battalion.
My name is Barry Calio. I'm an elected Newcomb Council member, and I've been asked to share a few words on behalf of Chief Samuel Spinner and Council. Chief Sam sends his regrets. He's away on other business at the moment. First, I would like to acknowledge BC Ambulance Service for organizing this event, and Newcomb administration staff for contributing towards the support of this event as well. So we could all gather in peace. I would like to begin by expressing our deepest gratitude to the paramedics, school staff, and hospital staff who responded that day. Your heroic actions did not go unnoticed. In a moment of crisis, everyone stepped forward with courage, professionalism, and deep care for our children. The way you pulled together so quickly and worked as a team was extraordinary. swift response and dedication, lives were protected. We are wholeheartedly grateful that no lives were lost. To the students and the families who were impacted, please know that you remain in our hearts and prayers as healing continues. First responders truly save lives, and we witness that truth firsthand. To everyone we are honoring today, those who were there, those who acted quickly, and those who offered comfort, and those who carried responsibility in difficult moments, we hold our hands up to you. The love you showed for our children and community was clear and powerful. And to the families, we continue to hold you close. Please take care of yourself and one another as healing continues. We hold your hands up to you all. Bye.
Lastly, we're going to call up Geraldine Elkins to say a few closing comments.
I have worked my entire career so that we in uniform can sit beside our Indigenous neighbors. And today, that's happened. A lot of times, we have non-Indigenous paramedics working in Indigenous communities. New Hope Nation has 2 members that work for BC Ambulance, and for that I'm proud. I am proud that I paved the way for people to step into their spaces. I've worked many years. My grandmother was a midwife. So I carry that runs in my blood as a healer. And I always tell young people, what did your ancestors do? What did they do in the community 100 years ago? That blood runs in your veins. I totally appreciate the New Hope Nation for opening up your arms and welcoming my people, which is the paramedics. I call them my people because I lead them, but I also follow them. And I worked as a paramedic for 13 years, and I was always the only Indigenous person in the room. So I had to fight my way through the system, but in a good way, in respect and honor. And I have learned that we need none of us is going to go away, non-Indigenous or Indigenous, so we need to be able to open our arms to each other and make our communities a better place for people. And I hope one day some of these stations are filled with Indigenous paramedics, because we know how to heal each other, and that's the way that we're going to heal our nations, is that we're able to take care of our own. I manage stations from Williams Lake to here, and then I have established nation communities, Lillooet, Seton, and Goldbridge. So I have 7 stations that I manage, 7 nations of Indigenous peoples, 25 Indigenous communities. So for that, I'm glad that Indigenous person leads Interior West Caribou is what we call it. I can't imagine what families went through that day. I listened on the radio. I was in Williams Lake, and I could hear, I worked with a lot of paramedics, and I could hear their voices as they spoke on the radio, and I knew what was happening in the back of those ambulances. But those children were taken care of. They were hugged, probably. They were cleaned. They were loved as they were brought to higher level care, even if it meant by ground. So we had a lot of things that happened in the background. We had 3 ambulances come from Williams Lake that brought critical care paramedics from the airport to Cattle Lake. So there was, 6 ambulances, 6 different crews, all the way to 100 Mile. We had a crew that came from 100 Mile that went to Tatla Lake. So there was a lot of people involved. There were dispatchers, there were critical care paramedics, there were just people in the background just working to try to get these children to higher level care. I appreciate my organization for standing aside and letting me lead in the way that I know best, because I've worked in Anaheim, I've worked in Alexis Creek, I've worked in Williamsburg. I know what it's like to be on the side of the road in the middle of the night with nobody. So I appreciate my organization for giving me the leeway to lead. I appreciate Chris. Andrew's back there. Andrew is the acting unit chief. And I appreciate all of the crews and the Lake crew who came down here. We have one ambulance that has Starlink on it, and that comes from Anaheim Lake. That was the 2-stretcher ambulance. That's the only way we knew exactly where that convoy was all the time. So my heart goes out to the families, that you continue to heal and that you do not take the innocence of those children. That is an honor, maybe in some way, of being touched by a bear. In my culture, we have great respect for the bear. We don't speak ill of them, we honor them, and we walk around them when we see them. And I'm not sure, I just had a moment as I was leaving the community 1 week after the attacks, and they had relocated bears, and they were coming down the hill, and they looked at me with the greatest sadness, because they were removed from their home, and that made me sad. So I prayed for them, and I said, I'm really sorry that you were taken from your home, but we need to live together as humans and as creatures. So just the moments of seeing wildlife, right? We all work here, we all need to share our spaces. I've been involved in a lot of after actions with the doctors and the nurses and those people that took care of everybody at Lions Gate, at BC Children's. And I explained to them how important it is that we're able to pray, we're able to drum, we're able to smudge, because that is the most important part of healing for our people. That's been disconnected for so many years, and that is probably 90% of our healing, is that spiritual healing. So we need to heal our spirits, and I'm glad for Marissa and Bossy for leading my crews in order to heal and to go to those spaces where they can let that stuff go. I appreciate that, and that's what healing and healthcare is. So, Sichana Liagulim. That means I am honored to be standing here in front of you. Thank you very much.
I just want to thank everybody for being here today. You know, this is such a short notice event, and we've got so many people here. It's great to see, you know, representatives from our community that, you know, help this whole event. You know, that day was a pretty tough day, and a lot of us in this room were on